Evening, Silv. Evening, Bill. How are you both?
We all well. It's just stuck in traffic, but we're just on the way home.
Look, this is going to be our last Zoom room of the season. Just think, when we first started, the world was a slightly different place. But we end in a position where it looks like you're Batman, Silv.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're having a nightmare to get home, and it's just come from Linfield. But, I still here in the back seat, and, I have a time to catch up with you guys,
You can't, for everyone out there, can you do us a "I'm Batman"?
Well, it's quite dark, but, it could be the Batman tonight.
Bill, Silver's in the winners' enclosure at Lingfield. You in the winners' enclosure at Southall.
Yeah,
Well, in your office in the winners' enclosure. So it's our job to get all the Star Sports punters in the winners' enclosure for Champions Day on Saturday, which is an ever-growing popular fixture, which had its scrutiny to start with, but it's grown in popularity every year. We've got a cracking card this year. We'll get straight into it in chronological order, and we'll start with the Long Distance Cup, the 120. The mighty Stradivarius heading the market 4 to 5 with us at Star Sports. 3 Gold Cups, 4 Goodwood Gold Cups, but he was knocked off his perch at 8 to 13 in this race last year by Kew Gardens. Plenty of opposition, Search for a Song. She won the Irish Leisure. Fujiwara Prince had a breakout season this year. And Silva, I'll let you go first because you might ride Mirando. It never stops raining around here. And you'll want that to keep going, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'll be praying for rain. The deep is the ground, the better is for him. But the horse is in great form. We're going to be stepping up in trip, but will be hard to beat Stradivari. I think he's a really good stayer, and he has proved that. And, but anything can happen in race horses, But, we give him a go, But I fancy my fella each way. I don't think he's going to disgrace himself. So, but it's a competitive race like a usual is, We meet top horses in that race. But, Stradivari stand out for me in the betting.
Bill, I thought it would be a wonderful climax of the season if Holly Doyle could ride a winner on Champions Day, and I thought Trushan had an each-way chance at 16s. Have you played in the race?
Yeah, I thought, do you know what? I think Silv's got a massive chance on Mirando, particularly with now the rain's arrived. As long as you ride him positively, Silv, from the front, like he was at Chester, that's the way he's got to be ridden.
Yes, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Gotta go.
I trust your own instincts of how to ride horses. You've ridden enough winners, Silv, yeah.
I think Mirando's a real player. The obvious one is Stradivarius, but he's had a hard season, not on his ideal ground. I would be very prepared to take him on. I would take him on, hopefully, with I think Mirando would be the one, but it'd be too boring now. Silv's already nominated him. But I would go, I think Dawn Patrol, one of the 3 Aidan O'Brien horses, will run really well. They stepped him up to 2 miles last time. Pierre-Charles Boudot, a really interesting booking there. But he's around 12 to 1, but he won really well for Shamie Heffernan last time, stepped up to 2 miles, who said he'll go on any ground and could stay up to 2.5 miles. Proper stayer, good horse. I thought 12 to 1 him was interesting. And the other one I would play really left field is one of the rank outsiders, Mildenberger at 66 to 1 each way.
Straight to the front, stay there.
Mark Johnson ran a shocker last time, but bits of his form put him in the mix, and you get surprises on Champions Day. And I thought he could hit the frame at 66 to 1, but I'd go Dawn Patrol.
Brilliant, thank you. Right, let's get straight into the Champions Sprint Stakes, the Group 1. Silva, I bet you can't wait for this. You said at the beginning of the season how much you were looking forward to Art Power. You said he was a top-class horse. He proved that at Royal Ascot. He went and won at Naas. Next time up, that he disappointed in the Nunthorpe, and then he came out. The Haydock run was okay, but you would have thought you would have been looking for better that day. Dream of Dreams obviously won the race, but going back to Ascot, the scene of his greatest triumph, and Dream of Dreams goes back to a place where he's run 5 times and been beat 5 times.
Yes.
How's your boy?
Yeah, he's doing great. And, I spoke to the connections the other day, and they're very happy with the training and how he's at home. And I do think he's a top-class horse. And, we take on the old boys. They just jump and run. They know how to do that game. But, I'm a great believer, and I do like the horse. And and he's only could get better. And he has put a disappointing run in for me at York, but he run better at Haydock, and I think he could be better than that.
9-1. I mean, Bill, look, we're looking at 9-4 to come third. You're only getting 13-8 Dream of Dreams to win the race. One Master, she's been on the go a lot. Oxted, lightly campaigned, brilliant in the July Cup. I thought she looked very interesting, but
yeah,
I mean, a believer here?
Yeah, the favourite Dream of Dreams has finished second last in this for the last 2 years, but he's been gelded. He seems a completely different horse. They've got to the bottom of him. They've given the breaks between the races. He's definitely the one to beat. Is whether you want to take 13-8, 7-4. Bit skinny. I think of all the favourites running, he'd be one of the most likely winners. I think he'll be very hard to beat. Got huge, utmost respect for Silv's art power back at Ascot. I thought the one that interested me most was Kate Byron. I thought he was very interesting. I think he's coming here fresh, but he came to this track early last October and beat Don Juan Triumphant very well on soft ground. And he obviously goes well fresh, obviously handles soft ground, trained by Roger Varian. I thought 16-1 Kate Byron was just a little bit too big, and he'd probably be the one I go for each way, particularly as there's 4 places out there with the odd firm. I thought Kate Byron would be the one for me.
Well, hopefully we'll find a horse that we agree on, and it probably won't come in the third race of the day, the Fillies and Mares Group 1, because I don't fancy any of them. I went through all this earlier, and there was quite a few horses I fancied during the afternoon. I've permed a lot on them up. This is a race I will sit and avoid. I didn't like any of them. I thought it was a particularly hard punting race, a race to be a bookmaker, should I say. It'd be nice to see Ed Vaughan have a win. I thought Dave Malliot had every chance, but do you fancy anything strong in this, either of you? Am I missing a trick here, Bill?
I know Silv likes one from the front, don't you, Silv?
Yes, I do. Yeah, Manuela de Vega, and I think it's a big price, 20-1. I think she is at the moment, but I think she could run a huge race. If she get a soft lead, and she could be a big player.
2 minutes ago, I wasn't having a bet in this race. There we go. That's that race ticked. Bill, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about Manuela de Vega, I can definitely see where Silva's coming from. She just got one really bad race over 1 mile and 6 in France last time. But, if she'd come here straight from Haydock, where she'd run beaten Fanny Logan first up and then beaten McCarwey, she'd be near enough favourite for this race. So you're forgiving a horse a couple of bad runs. The conditions of the race against Love at York were all against her. So I can definitely see that argument from the front. I thought it was typically wide open and difficult. I'd probably go Media of John Goslin's with Frankie Dettori. Ran no sort of race at Royal Ascot behind Lord North, but that's the only run this campaign. Comes here a fresh filly, and don't forget she was 5th behind Magical in the Champion Stakes here last year over 1 mile and a quarter. Handles the ground, stays. I just thought this was probably in the plan all season, and I thought 12-1 Maida or whatever whatever you pronounce it, I thought she would go pretty well.
I thought it was telling that Frankie's obviously picked her over Frankly Darling. If you're saying about horses that have disappointed or not gone quite right, she was brilliant in the Ribblesdale. The third at Epsom behind Love didn't look too bad, but it's amazing how 3 months can change the face of the world for a horse, because she looked like she had the world at her feet, didn't she, early in the season?
Yeah, and I think he's always kept faith in her. I just thought 12-1 was probably a bit of value there.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to the big one, the Queen Elizabeth, the Group 1, 1 mile. It'll be nice and soft out there. Palace Pier, 5-5. One at Ascot. Probably the race of the season for me, the Pinatubo Whittaker Showdown. Thought that was a top class race. I loved watching that. Look, can we find something to beat him? This is what we always do in these Zoom rooms. We talk about these odds-on chances. We're trying to find a way for Stradivarius to get beat. You got the Revenant in there, came second last year. Circus Maximus, who never, ever runs a bad race. And then Nazif, who came back to form last time. 2 wins at Newmarket this season. But Palace Pier looks a long way ahead of these on paper, really, doesn't he? I don't think it was one to be overly clever, this race. You?
Well, it's a tough race, I think this year it could be very competitive. And but the horse I like out there is the French horse, the Revenant.
Yeah.
Revenant.
Yeah, the Revenant. Yeah.
The Revenant, yeah. And I think he come to this race with a solid form, and I think he come to this race as a fresh horse, So I think everyone have to give him a good go, and I think he could have all the beaten. He could get all the beaten in this race.
Each way play, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought Palace Pier would win. I thought Palace Pier and Revenant were the obvious two. If the ground gets really chewed up and quite hard work, and it's tough, obviously Circus Maximus is tough. He looks always. I thought the old boy Lord Glitters was a bit of value each way. If
you love Lord Glitters. We've been here before. Come on.
I do like Lord Glitters, but he shaked a Dave up last time. Handles the ground. Just goes well at this meeting. I just thought he might hit the frame. I don't think he's good enough to win it. I think he could just be in the placing. But I thought Palace Pier would win.
I bet one of your kids is secretly your favourite, Bill. You're a favourites kind of guy. No comment, sir. No comment.
Move on, Luke.
Move on. Now, I think we're all in agreement, as boring as it seems, that we'd happy to take on Stradivarius at odds on earlier in the card. We're probably the same with Dream of Dreams, but the 5-6 Palace Pier looks probably a fair bet, doesn't it?
Well, the thing about Palace Pier also is he's fresh. He's won on heavy ground. He's won on good ground. He's won on fast ground. He's unbeaten in five races. He's a quality horse, and he's got Ascot form too. So there isn't much not to like about him, but he's odds on, and it's just whether you want to take odds on in what is probably or is his hardest assignment to date. Probably, it's just a value thing.
Fair assessment. Let's move on to the Champion Stake. The wonderful, magical heads of the market with us at Star Sports. Cracking little race. We see the return of Mishriff, second favourite, Lord North, and Pile Driver, who might be sort of slightly overlooked at 12-1 in the race. Magical, she never runs a bad race. I thought she was brilliant when beating Gareth last time. Mishriff, another one who won't mind the ground. I think Lord North, this might just be a step too far for him. He was beat by both these horses earlier in the season. I lean towards Magical here, which as much as it annoys me, I don't like putting up favourites in sort of 3-horse races like this, but I think Magical's the most likely winner. What do you think of Pile Driver, Bill?
He's got a chance. I mean, you write off Pile every time you write him off, he wins. That tends to be got Ascot form. Over a bit further, whether he's at his best over a mile and two remains to be seen. But he's a player. He's just had a pretty busy season. That's the only thing that slightly worries me about him. And this really is the deep end. If you thought the Ledger was a deep end, this really is the deep end for him.
He just 2 out. You thought, here we go. He's going to do it. Like, he's built up such a following in such a short time. A real public horse. It'd be lovely to see him run well here. But of the top 3, then your free bet: Magical, Mishriff, Lord North. Where's the Esdaile money?
For me, I think Magical's the most likely of the leading ones. She's really smart. If she brings the same form that she was in at Leopardstown last time, she'll be very hard to beat. She won the race last year, handles Ascot, handles soft ground. She is the clear one. It just depends on the weather. If the rain carries on, if the word heavy is in the going still, and it's soft, heavy in places on the round course, the French horse Schiletti is probably the value call, because people don't know too much about it, but it's got an electric turn of foot, handles the ground, stays, bit of a golfing class. But Schiletti, I thought, was just really interesting at kind of 10-1 if the ground was heavy. But if it dried out too much, I wouldn't be so keen on Schiletti. But I thought that was a bit of value. But I just think Magical will win.
Yeah, Sil, if you could pick up a ride any in this race, who would you plump for?
Wow, he's a tough one, because we've got a lot of stars out there. It starts from the top horse, Esdaile, and Pile Drive and Mishriff. But Magic is a standout for me. She's a proven one, and I think everyone has to beat her. But I'll go for Magic first off, and John Gosden for second. Mishriff, and I think the rest will only pick up caps, but it's tough. It's a competitive, but Magical stand out for me as a favorite.
Cool. Right, let's get on to the Balmoral Handicap. Bill, I'm going to say it on camera, you've had a cracking season. We really appreciate the winners you put up. So there's some real big price winners. No bigger than Serpentine in the Derby, but like we say, you're only as good as your last result, and this could be the last race you tip for 6 months. So no pressure, but in these handicaps where you specialise at big prices, finish the season on a high, Bill. Find the Star Sports punters a nice big price winner in the last Zoom room of the year.
Does that mean I can't go for the favourite?
Over to you. A winner. Look, we bet 4-1 the field, so that you can have the favourite if you want, but this is your moment.
The favourite, Ray, the Brian Mearns colt.
Potentially the best horse he's had in a while.
It could be the real class edge here. I mean, if you look at the win at Ascot over 7 last time on soft ground, ran away with it off a mark of 97. Life's a bit tougher now, but he looks a quality horse, and he would be the most likely winner. But the problem is that the bookmakers know that, and he's 5-1 favourite. I still think he's the one to beat. Looking at the others, the Irish Raiders, Keats from the O'Brien team's interesting. Njord from Jesse Harrington's. These are all kind of listed class horses that handle the ground. The draw's an interesting thing. Last year, you kind of appeared to want to be drawn low. Everyone went over to that far side rail. Even the winner, who came from a kind of stand side draw, made his way over there, Escobar. So maybe a low draw is what you want, but again, who knows? I'm going to put up a horse in trap 20, which is Orban of David O'Meara's.
No 14-1 chance, Danny Todd.
Yeah, there may even be bigger around there. I just thought he's really interesting for the O'Meara camp. They've won the race in the past with Lord Glitters, who we mentioned before, but I think this is a horse who came from Andre Fab, has got plenty of experience, handled bad ground before, and I just don't think we've seen the best of him. And a patient ride, played late. I thought he was the value, but I still think Raik would win, but I'd go Orban each way.
You can end on a forecast, Bill.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Sil, can you give us one or two in the last?
Yes, I hope my horse can get in, for Richie Spencer.
Yeah, Ravich, yeah. Do you think
Ravich.
he will?
And well, that's the hopes. Yeah, I love to be in that race. It's a big field, and I usually get a better look in the big fields. But is a horse that stand out for me. Is a Blue Mister for Roger Chow to William Buchan, 16-1. I think that could be a big player. Drawn 23, grabbing that rail, he stay out there. He could have a big, he could finish well.
Brilliant, guys! Thanks so much for your time. I can't tell you how much fun we've had throughout the summer in a trying summer where we've not been able to go racing. Still, we really appreciate your time. So trying to bring the racing to the people in their front rooms, at home, in the office. I hope too. And good luck on Saturday. We've really enjoyed the summer working with you. We wish you all the best. We hope to see you back in the Zoom room early next season.
It's been brilliant, and thanks to Style Sport as well. Been a great support for me, and I really enjoy. It's been a great support in my career. So it's good, and I really appreciate the work with you guys.
Bill, you've not been too bad yourself.
Thanks very much, Luke.
Thank you so much, Bill. We've had, like I said, with Serpentine and the Derby, you've had a belting summer, putting loads of big prices up. Let's just try and hope we end in style.
Perfect, great stuff.
Thank you very much, chaps. Cheers.
Thank you.